Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the M&J podcast where we give you business insights. And today I'm joined yet again by Fadzai. Fadzai, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Golden. It's a delight to be here once again.
Definitely. And today we want to look at a subject which most of the business entrepreneurs out there don't know about. We want to talk about shareholders agreement. Now, for a start, maybe you can explain what's a shareholders agreement and why every entrepreneur out there must have one.
Okay, thank you so much. It's a great topic, and I feel it's something that every entrepreneur must know. So a shareholders agreement is, let's say it's a legal document that is governing your partnership or that is governing a company. It works where we've got two or more partners that are coming into business to form what we call a partnership. So basically, it's a legal document that is directing how the partnership is going to go in regards to initial investment, sharing of profits, exit strategy, non-compete. It details quite a number of things.
All right. Now, over the past time you have been working as a consultant, I know you might have one or two stories about entrepreneurs who didn't have a shareholders agreement and it went south. Maybe you might like to share one.
Yes, there are actually many. You know, typical Zimbabweans are quite reluctant to have agreement. You've got your bestie in high school or in college, you decide to start a business just from a handshake and then you think you're good. One typical example that I would want to highlight was I had a client, they were two, and they were in a partnership in a logistics company, and they were both married. But for one partner, his wife wanted to live an extravagant life. So the wife would just come in any time of the business, get the money, go on a shopping spree to Dubai, go to Vic Falls for a holiday. So she would typically just come in to get all the money and go without calculating whether it's profit or it's not, and without even having a clear direction that is she really entitled to this or not. So what was really affecting them was that they had no clear structures to say how much profit are we supposed to share and what exactly are the splits. Before you knew it, the company actually went under because they started eating away from the money that they were supposed to use for fuel, the money that they were supposed to use for repairs, and the company actually went down up until they had to come through to us to ask for mediation. We helped them, but then it was quite a struggle to actually get the company up and running all over again.
All right. Now, I might have my best friend. Let's take this example. I have someone I've grown up with, we went to the same school, and then later on we decided to start a business together. I trust this person very much.
Yes.
Is registering a shareholders agreement, doesn't it mean that I'm not trusting my partner?
Not really. Actually, registering a shareholders agreement doesn't mean you're not trusting your partner. It simply means you're trusting the process. Why I'm saying so is because it's actually ideal to always have something that is governing it. You can take it more like insurance for your car. When you get insurance for your car, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are planning to crash, but it's more like you are planning just in case you crash. So having a shareholders agreement is just being prepared for the unknown. You've got your agreement. Whilst you're still agreeing, whilst you're still in good spirits, you come up with the clauses, you come up with the agreement. And then, let's say the unfortunate then happens. Someone decides to leave the partnership, or someone takes more money than what they are entitled to. You then get to be governed by that shareholders agreement. So it's something that it's more like a cover or a plan ahead type of thing.
All right.
Yes.
So when we register this shareholders agreement, what are some of the things that it should include for it to become solid?
It includes a lot of things. For starters, we should outlay the initial capital. How much is each person going to be contributing? How much are we going to be sharing in regards to profit? It should also outline the exit strategy in the event that one wants to exit. What exactly is supposed to happen? In the event that we want to dissolve the partnership itself, what exactly should we do? It has got clauses to do with non-compete, clauses to do with voting rights. So it outlines quite a number of things, but just the basic ones are the ones that I've just told you about.
All right. Maybe there's someone watching us right now who is already operating and they're in a partnership without a shareholders agreement. I know there are a lot of dangers, but maybe if you can highlight just the three main dangers that can come from operating without a shareholders agreement.
Okay. There are quite a number of dangers or maybe things that we need to look out for when you're operating without a shareholders agreement. For starters, they can be power struggles. If it's not very clear that we're supposed to do what are they in charge of, there should be clear segregation of duties. When you are a director, what exactly are you in charge of? What is it that you cover? Are you covering the sales aspect? Are you covering the operations? Are you covering both? So if you don't have a shareholders agreement, it's difficult for you to put those boundaries. And then another thing would be taking more than you should or taking more than you're entitled to, because in a shareholders agreement we get to outline the profit sharing. Let's say maybe you're saying Golden is getting 30, Fadza is getting 70. If that thing is not clearly outlined, there's risk that one partner might actually take more than what they are entitled to. And then the third thing would be exit nightmares. You know, when one partner now wants to leave a partnership, it's like when a boyfriend wants to leave a relationship now. There are a whole lot of things that happen. So if it's not clearly laid out to say, when we are now dissolving the partnership or when we are now divorcing, if I may say, who is going to take what? How are we going to be sharing the money that is in the company? How are we going to be sharing the assets that are in the company? How are we going to be sharing even the creditors that are in the company, basically? Yes. So everything needs to be clear. There are quite a number of things that we can actually highlight.
But isn't there a shareholders agreement for bigger companies? Is it necessary to have one when you are still operating small?
It's not for big companies, not at all. It's not for big companies. A shareholders agreement it's for everyone. For as long as you're coming into business with another partner, 2 or more, whether it's a tuckshop, whether it's a salon, whether it's a garage, whether it's a restaurant, for as long as you've got a partner, there's need for you to have a governing document. Because if you don't have one, you're literally just operating blindly. You don't know what the future holds for you. So it's for everyone. Everyone needs to have a shareholders agreement.
All right. So what's the first step for us to have a shareholders agreement?
The first step, basically what I normally do with my clients, when they come through, they want to register a company, probably they're 2 or more. We sit down, we agree, whilst we're still in good spirits, whilst we're still happy that we've got a company registered. We sit down and then we agree on the clauses. First, we need to outline the bigger goal or the bigger vision. What is it that we want to achieve? And then we come up with the bigger how. How are we going to be achieving that? And then we now come up with the different clauses depending on each and every party's wishes. So basically in the shareholders agreement, we are communicating our wishes individually and then coming up with common ground that benefits the mutual relationship.
All right. This has been really helpful to the entrepreneurs watching, but maybe before we go, maybe some tips for the entrepreneurs on our shareholders agreement.
Okay. So the big tip would be, for as long as you're in business with a partner, you really need a shareholders agreement. It's better for you to prepare for the big storm with a huge umbrella or a good umbrella rather than getting into the storm and then running to look for an umbrella. So what I would advise, if you don't have a shareholders agreement, find a reliable consultant that can get to help you. Draft something that is mutually beneficial to both parties, and then you're good to go. So it's good for you to prepare now rather than to cry later.
It's good for you to prepare now rather than to cry later.
Sure.
Thank you very much for joining me on this episode.
Thank you so much, Golden. It's a wonderful time and pleasure to be here once again.
Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the M&J podcast where we've been talking about shareholders agreement. And if you're operating in a partnership without a shareholders agreement, please consider having one. Now, before we go, just comment in the comment section, like and share to the next entrepreneur. See you next time.